Hi YouTube, it's ACDodd here again and welcome to another episode of On The Road Tuning with myself. Today we're off to Southampton and then Portsmouth. We've got a couple of minis, one of which has got a stage 1 kit with the usual ailments. And the second one has got a nice HIF 38 carbon and it just needs dialing in. So let's get on it. Here we are down in Southampton and we've got a lovely little car. This one, I think is this a 30? Or was a 30? Yeah. So this is a 30. And it's nice and standard. Apart from, it's got a bit of a retrim going on inside. Very nice. And under the bonnet, we've got a nice standard high compression A+ 998 engine with the addition of a stage 1 kit. And this one's got a few running problems. So what we'll do is we'll go and talk to the owner and see what's wrong with it and why he's called us down. Right, this is Malcolm. He owns that lovely little Mini 30. So the 998 engine not running very well. Why have you called us down?
Well, basically, I've tried to tune it myself, and as you can see from the results, it's running rough. There's a lot going on where when you have a tick over, it ticks over okay, but then when you start putting the throttle down, it gets lumpy and it's not running very well. So,
bit lethargic.
Yeah, very lethargic.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So a lot of gearbox, a lot of gear stirring, trying to get the thing to go up hills and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's caused all that?
So basically, I put a stage 1 kit on. So previously, had it running lovely, strangely enough. With standard exhaust and everything else like that, and as soon as I put the stage 1 kit, it ran really lumpy. Couldn't get it tuned in at all. The timing's completely out, and so I called in an expert.
Okay, all right. Well, you hit the nail on the head there. A lot of people do find that when they fit the stage 1 kit, to their disappointment, as soon as they fit it, it runs terribly. So what you found is exactly what a lot of people find. So don't worry about that. We can definitely make this one a lot better. But it's just a good example of why people need the engine tune after they fit a stage 1 kit. So let's dig in and see what we can do.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, as ever, we'll start with the coil. So we'll see what coil's fitted. Malcolm's told me he's fitted a new coil, so let's just see if it's the right one. First of all, we'll just short the meter out to make sure we get a good reading on that, which is not currently. There we go. So take 0.6 off of whatever reading we get. Across the side of the coil, we're just under 3 ohms. So on this car, it should be fitted with a 1.5 ohm coil. So obviously the coil that's been supplied to Malcolm here is the wrong one, so we're going to change that to a 1.5 ohm coil and then we can move on. Okay, so what we're going to do is, it's got a set of mini spares leads on it which aren't too old, so we'll just check these, see what the resistance is. If you can see that, yep, we got 5k. That's actually not bad for a standard lead. However, in this case, Malcolm's asked that we fit some of my slightly lower resistance leads on, which is, you know, there's a good reason for doing that, because it maintains the integrity of the lead, because you get a slightly lower system voltage and a slightly hotter spark. So I'm going to fit a set of those anyway, although these ones are perfectly serviceable in this case. Okay, so what we're also going to do is whip these plugs out and have a look, because I think they've been in there a while. Oh, very loose, so that didn't need any undoing. So we'll have a quick look. Yeah, quite sooty as well. So we'll put a new set of spark plugs in that. Just have a quick look at the heat range. Yeah. Okay. Let's whip these out. They're all quite black. Now, bearing in mind that has been running on choke, but that looks to be like we're not running particularly well. The other thing we notice is the gap is huge, so that needs reducing as well. So we'll gap those on the new plugs. So, new plugs, just to remind people, they come out of the packet, see that? It's too wide. So we just need to close that down. There we go, 25 thou. on this particular car with a conventional ignition system. Now this one is running electronic conversion, but we're still running a conventional coil, so this one still only runs 25 thou plug gap. So we've got the new power spark leads, and we just again show the resistance, get a good connection. So 1.87k instead of the 5.5 or 5 to 5 or 5 to 6 as you normally have on a standard lead. Okay, so we just checked the timing. One of the things you notice there is the popping on the exhaust. If you have a look at the timing setting, the reason why we're popping on the exhaust is because we've got 34 degrees of ignition advance when that's idling, which is way too advanced. So a good, you don't need to have all this equipment. You can just use your ears, and when you listen to that engine and it's popping like that, it's telling you, that noise it's telling you it's got too much ignition advance when it's idling. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some advance out of the engine. We've gone back to 14 now. Now we're going to have a listen to the exhaust note. So what we found is we're okay at idle, maybe a touch lean. That's around the stoichiometric 1 figure. So that's about 1.3, 1.35, 1.4, 1.4. So this is a classic example of you can't just take the bits out of the stage 1 kit, fit it to an engine and expect it to work. This one's way too lean. So we're going to need to do some modifications on the needle to bring that into check. Okay, so what we got is the needle out the carburetor. Okay, this is an AAU needle, which is the usual one that's supplied in a lot of these stage 1 kits. But in terms of the fueling it delivers, it's usually on the lean side. In this case, it's extremely lean, so misfire lean. So the engine just stops running because it's just too lean. So we've got to modify that quite considerably to get the fueling where we need it. Okay, so one thing I have noticed when I'm trying to tune this one is we've got some leaking fuel coming out of the overflow. So I've taken the top off and had a look, and I've blown through that, and the needle valve is not closing off. So what I'm going to do is take this out now and probably end up fitting another one and clearing it out. The other thing I've noticed as well, if you look, that is hardly any movement. That should have a lot more free play before that shuts that fuel off. So definitely something wrong here. We're going to investigate. Right, so what we found is that's the base, and then if you look in there, the owner, when he's done this, is mistakenly fitted a washer. In fact, there's 2 washers on there. All right, they need to come off, and then that will sort the height out, and then we need to see why it's leaking. I've put that all back together. That's the original needle and seat in there, but obviously the owner, Malcolm, has actually changed that, and because he put the extra washers in, we didn't have the range, which we now do. And also, when I blow on that, it's not leaking now because it had some a bit of crap in there. So we've cleaned that out, and now that's working as it should. We've retarded the ignition timing back to somewhere near right. The advance curve on this one is actually a bit slow. So one of the things we're going to do with Malcolm is I'm recommending that he sends me a distributor, or we buys another distributor with the right advance curve in it, a little bit more aggressive, and this one will pick up a lot better. We've changed the coil for a 1.5 ohm coil. We've got new spark plugs all in, new set of leads, and then we've adjusted the carburetor. Now, we had insufficient oil in the carburetor, so now I've tried various grades, and we've now got 2050 oil, and we've got an extensively modified AAU needle. And that runs nice and strong, so we're going to send him out in it now and see what he thinks. Okay, so Malcolm's been out. You can already see that smile on his face. So, what's the experience?
Oh, it's amazing. It just wants to go even at the low revs. You put your foot on the throttle, and it just wants to leave you away. It's really, really good. The rev range is amazing. Adrian did all the changes on the needle, which allowed it to go through the rev range really, really smoothly. It's just a completely different car. It's like night and day. Highly recommend everyone coming to Adrian to get their car tuned.
Excellent. Well, I mean, that's a glowing endorsement, so thank you very much. I just want to ask you a couple of questions, though, because obviously you fitted that stage 1 kit.
Yep.
And, you know, difference between you fitting it yourself and then getting it dialed in.
It's completely different, yeah. So I would always say to someone now through this experience, basically, go ahead, fit your stage 1, but get an expert to actually tune it in, because it's completely, the needle was way too fat, the carburetor was running way too lean, there's so many other little bits and bobs that needed fixing. So yeah, get the expert in.
All right, well, excellent. The reason why I asked you that question is because I see this a lot, and I just want to make sure that people like yourself pass on that experience of, you know, you fitted your stage 1 kit, but that doesn't mean to say it's actually running right at all.
No.
And in some cases, like yourself, it's actually running worse than what it was before you fitted the stage 1 kit.
Yeah, absolutely. When I had the standard, everything was standard. It was running lovely, actually, really sweetly, almost like a sewing machine. It was like a lovely little purr to it. And then I put the stage 1 on it. It was very rough. It was hesitant. It wasn't running down the road properly. There was a lot of flooding going on from the float, and now it's just perfect.
Excellent. So you got more power than when it was running perfectly with the standard kit on?
Oh. Yes, it's like a different engine.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Well, I needn't bother asking because you've already said you would definitely recommend this service. So.
Highly, yeah.
All right then. Okay. Anyway, nice to meet you, Malcolm. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're up to Fareham now for the second car today, and we've got a nice little 998, and we're already into this one. So what we got under the bonnet? So right, interesting one, this one, because we're needing some maintenance. So we've got very tight wires, everything. Well, I've touched one and it's come off, so we need to be very careful. Anyway, looking at this, we've got the wrong coil, we've got a ballast wire fitted, we've got 65D fitted, we've got the wrong plugs, so everything's pretty much wrong in terms of the initial settings. The leads are okay, they're in reasonable condition, and the advance curve's wrong as well. But because of the condition of the wiring, I'm actually going to leave this today rather than changing it all, because we need to run an extra wire round to bypass the ballast resistor. So I'm going to leave that one with Andy, the owner, to look at. And then what we'll do is I'll come back at a later date once he's done some maintenance on the wiring to make it more resilient, and then I can obviously dive in and start changing all the advanced curves and everything else. Anyway, the engine runs smoothly. It's just that we've got to dial it in. It's had a new carburetor fitted, so it's got HIF 38. This one's still got the economy lean out on, so we'll see if that needs to be plugged. It's got the very slow drop damper on it, so we've got to modify that as well. Interestingly, people sometimes call me out and they don't necessarily realise the condition of parts under the bonnet. So in this particular case, I am a little bit hampered by that, but I can still get this engine to run a lot better than it is at the moment. So let's go and have a word with Andy why he called us down, and we'll go from there. All right, Andy, this is your car.
Yeah, it is.
How long have you had it?
2 years.
2 years, okay. All right, so we've obviously, you saw me there, we've gone through and had a quick look, and we've got some other work to do on this one before we can do a full tune. So why did you call us down anyway?
Just because it wasn't running right, and I don't really know what I'm doing, and you do.
Well, that's short and sweet and to the point. I like it. So how did you find out about me?
Through Midweek Minis site online,
Okay, all right, cool.
and I am Wayne at TC Composites.
Okay, so I think Wayne's fitted your carburettor, which
That's
I can
right.
see looks all good. So
Yeah.
let's dig in and see what we can get out of your car, and hopefully get you on your way running better than you are now.
Cool.
All right,
Sounds
cool.
good. Thank you.
Okay, so one of the problems we've got with this car is although it's got a brand new SU on it, which is lovely to see, if we push that up, watch the drop rate. That's absolutely terrible for a performance engine, because what will happen is you'll accelerate, and then when you change gear, it'll take an absolute age to come back down into the right position, ready for the next gear. So what we're going to do is modify the drop rate to make that a fast drop, and we'll show you that in a minute. Modified this one, so if we now look at that, if I push that up, you can see that's coming down much faster. Okay, so that's what you want if you have a modified engine and you want the best performance out of it. You need to get rid of your flat spots between gear changes, which is what a slow drop damper will do. So increasing that drop speed is what gets you there. Okay, so obviously we're now down to the carburettor. So what we've actually got, we've already done the damper. I've took the standard ADS needle out. It was very lean at part throttle. I've gone to an AAF, and we'll just see what the fueling looks like. And once I find a suitable starting point, then we'll start modifying. Okay, so what we've got is that AAF needle is actually not too bad, although it goes lean at 5,000 and up. So we're going to adjust that at 5,000 and up. And we're also going to put a touch more fuel in at the top end, and then this one will be done. Okay, so that's us finished the tune-up. On this particular one, as I say, we had there's issues with the ignition which needs to be fixed, and I can't do that today because I don't carry all the parts to do the wiring and extend the cables and all the rest of it. So that'll be something for Andy to look at. Andy's now been out for a test drive, so the smile's already there.
Yeah, it says it all.
All right, so how's it running now?
A lot better than what it was. Yeah, I don't have to dump the clutch to keep it running. So
Excellent. More power?
A lot more power, yes.
Smoother?
Yeah, a lot smoother. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely brilliant.
Excellent. All right, and lastly, would you recommend this to anyone else?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, if
All
you've got an issue, give them a call.
All right, thank you very much, Andy.
No problem. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Okay, hopefully you found that interesting. That last car there just highlights, actually, when I turn up to look at cars, if they've got other issues, like there's wiring's in poor condition and things like that, I am kind of limited to what I can do, because I can't take every tool that I need for every job. So in the case of the mobile, I really only bring tools for tuning only. So I'm kind of limited on repairs. So it's really up to the owners to make sure that their car's in good condition. That car there belonged to Andy. Was by no means just him. I do get a lot of that. So it's just worthwhile that if you're booking me, then to get the best or the most out of that session for the money spent, the best thing to do is to make sure that the car is in good condition before I get there. Anyway, in terms of the results, 2 cracking cars. So anyway, as ever, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.